All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to DC Fine Art. Today we're going to be working and continuing on this purse done in color pencil. So I hope everybody's been having a good day or a good week so far. I've been super excited, been trying to do all these little pendants that were in these purse. So I got those all caught up, and we are ready to do that one big one with the little jewels inside of it. Hey, how are you, Iced Tea? Glad you made it. Yay! So, we are going to be doing that, and hopefully, after we get done with that bigger kind of pendant that's on that purse, we're going to go on to doing like the gold little brackets and the gold little things that are on the purse. So, we're not only working with just silver, but we're going to be working with gold without using gold pencils, like actually gold pencils. Aw, I haven't been doing too bad. I just got done picking up my daughter from volleyball practice. She actually had tryouts today, and unfortunately, it didn't go in her favor today. But that's okay because I told her that next year, she can, join one of those camps that they have, and she can do the tryout next year, and hopefully it'll go in her favor for next year. So we're still keeping our fingers crossed and we're still doing good. We've been practicing, and we got a little volleyball net so we can practice and we can practice together. So hopefully next year will be better and she can make the team next year. So that's how things are going. Aw. I know. I think she'll be really good. She didn't get to go to the camp this year. She was at her dad's and she didn't get to attend not only the camp, but then she also missed a whole week because she was with her dad. So she only technically got 4 days of practice before she actually did a tryout. So she went through, they had two cut days. Like yesterday was a cut day. She actually made it. And then today was the final cut day, and then she ended up not making it on the second time. So for only 4 days worth of practice, I think she did pretty good for only 4 days. I think that should have gave her a little bit of credit for that. But and no camp. So but it's okay. We'll do the camp next year and hopefully it'll be better with a lot more practice and even at home. So like everything else, even with doing art, I mean, it's not always going to be perfect on the first time. You're going to have some failures. Believe me, I've had some failures with my art. And as long as you keep trying, you'll end up getting better and you'll be able to do it. Yeah. Aw. Well, she took it. She's a good champ, so she took it as, that's okay. I can do it next year and we can do better. So the positivity is still there. Even though sometimes for me as a parent, it's really hard. I can tell you what, it's really hard. It's almost like, oh, why not? What could we do better? What could we do? Like inside my mind. But it'll be okay. So we will be just fine. So let's go ahead and get this turned around so you guys can see what we're going to be working on. Let's see here if I can figure out where everything is. Right here. Okay. So I still got my pencils out that I used for all these little pendants. So I got most of them all done. Well, pretty much all of them done. So they look like those little rivets or little pendants, I like to call them. But we have this gigantic one right here. Now that one there is going to look like, let me see here. I still want to keep all my grays, and I was using polychromos because it does have gray for more of that silver type of tone. But just like in the thumbnail picture, it is this pendant right there. That's the one we're going to be doing right there. And what really makes it nice is when you're looking at something like this, instead of like doing a printout, I know some people like to print out their reference photos and pin them or put a little magnet up to where they can do it on a board or something to have it to see. But I like doing this because I'm able to, and just keep it on the screen because I'm able to like zoom in really, really close and just kind of look at the things on where the darks and lights. I'm not looking at it as a stone, but as you can see, I can see blacks in there, and I see some kind of orangey color like in the center there a little bit, and then the pinks in there. You can kind of see where all the dark and light colors are. So that's why I like to use a either a computer, or you can use your iPad or a tablet. Any of those kind of things would work. Let's see here. I feel like I'm in a pretty bad married. Seems very hard to take care of yourself and another person, you know. Yeah, I can tell you what, I didn't know how it was gonna be like as far as like I know my son, he's 19 now, and he played football, but they didn't have tryouts. Like he said at his school, they didn't have no tryouts. You just go, and if you're wanting to play, then you just play. And they would have a whole bunch of people playing, like a whole bunch of kids playing. But that was to give every child an opportunity to be able to work on, just work on it a little bit harder, because some people in the team, like some kids in the team may not be able to do some of the camps, or maybe they have a little bit less practice as some of the other ones that may have been practicing a lot more. So it gives them the opportunity to be able to do better and progress, but still in the team to be able to have that opportunity. And I guess that here at this school, which was kind of like whenever I was in school, you know, they just kicked you off the team. But I can see where that actually helps kids if they didn't do the cuts like that. I do see a positivity in it, because like my daughter, she only had 4 days and wasn't able to attend any of the other camps, and it's the first time she's in 7th grade, so it's the first time ever playing volleyball like in their lives. So I can kind of see that at a lower 8th grade level. But who knows? I don't know. I don't make the rules. We just have to abide by them. Yeah. So that's just the way I see it. It's like, But anyways, we will be able to do the camps and be able to, we'll be able to do better next year. So keep a positive note. Let's see here. Okay, so I've got my grays and I've got my black. I'm using the Nightshade out of the Derwent Lightfast set, because it has blue in it mixed in with some black, and it makes it a lot more deeper and darker of a black. So that's why I'm using that along with my Polychromos grays, and these are the these are the cold grays. I don't do warm grays if I'm working with anything metal. So if it's metal, silver, something that is more of a still life kind of metal, I will pull out my cold grays. And if it happens to be like animal fur or anything that has more of a warmer or browner brown kind of mixture, like it gives it warmth, I will go to my warm grays. So those are the grays that I choose. And now we got to go ahead, and I didn't pick out any of the colors. I kind of wanted to do that with you guys for the jewels that are in this. So there are going to be pinks. I'm not for sure if I actually have my card here that I do my color test on it to kind of see. Oh, I think I see it. Hold on. It's right. Is this it? I think it's here. Okay. If I don't like fall over. So here are some of the pinks that I pulled out in here. And these are just a mixture of different ones. I think I just pulled out my Polychromos and my Caran d'Ache Luminance and did like a color chart with the pinks that I have in these sets. So I just want to look through here and just see if I see any kind of pale pinks that I can use. And the only thing really pale, I mean, this one here is almost non-existent, but it is 581, and I will read that. That's probably more of a, right here. It's a primrose, I think, or is it pink? No, it's pink white. But that is really, really light. That may be for the lightest part. And then I need some other pinks, but these pinks are probably going to be more of a, let's see here, 583 in the Caran d'Ache. Let me see what that looks like. No. And the reason why I do this on not just pulling out all my colors ahead of time and already having them out is because I like to do this with you guys. So you can kind of see my process too of choosing colors. But I like this one. This looks like more of a darker, not really a mid-tone color, but more of a darker kind of shade of pink that I can put in there. I probably will have to go a tad bit lighter than it. So you just kind of base your colors off of, like I chose here. Now I need a little bit lighter. We could go with 862. Then I'm kind of seeing what other colors I have. I'm going to look real quick. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Do this full time. Aw. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do the artwork and then I take care of my daughter. But yeah, I do. That's all I do right now. Majority is just to take care of my daughter because, you know, picking her up from school, bringing her back from school, and then taking care of her, and then also doing the artwork. Now before that, when I was making the videos each week, if you look at my past videos, like maybe it was probably over a year ago now. I'm not for sure. No, maybe it's a year. So yeah, I think it's around a year. But if you look at my past videos, I was driving like over the road. And so I would do my artwork while I was on the road driving. So I would have lots of spare time while I was on the road driving. Or sometimes I would have like 10 or 12 hours to spare, and that's all I would do is just sit there and the driver's seat, I'd put up a clipboard in my seat and I would literally just do artwork. And I absolutely loved it. It killed time, and it definitely felt very peaceful too, because I was just, there was really nothing else for me to do, you know? Let's see here. We're going to use, this is Derwent Lightfast, but I want to see if I can get more of a pink, like a lighter pink. I do like that color. And this is kind of a pink, but it's like a dusky pink. Let me see here. Let me put some of these colors together. Something's making a noise. And see, that's what these colors look kind of muted. It's not bright pink neither. Make sure there isn't any other ones in here. Now the Derwent Lightfast doesn't have a lot of pinks. That's basically these two colors are the only real pinks that it's got in here. Yeah, they don't really have. That's Autumn Red. Yeah, I don't see any other pinks. So the Derwent Lightfast doesn't offer a whole bunch of pinks. We did Polychromos. Let's see here. Quick. Just gonna take a look at the Pro Color. I don't really see any pinks in it either. Pinks are really kind of hard to find, especially if you're looking for pinks that are more Lightfast. I don't like that one. So if you're wanting pinks, the best thing to choose to be able to get quite a few pink colors would be like these here, which is the Polychromos, have the most pinks. This is 130. That's right in here. That is way too bright. So I don't have really anything except for these colors. So we'll just go with them and just see how it goes. Dusky pink. I don't want flesh pink. Is that flesh pink? That is. Why did I choose flesh pink for? I don't think I like it. No, I don't want it. We'll just stick it over here. It'll be fine. Okay, so we're gonna stick with these three colors, and we'll also incorporate a black in there. But we have violet pink out of the Caran d'Ache Luminance and pink white out of the Caran d'Ache Luminance, and then I chose dusky pink. So we got like a mid-tone pink, kind of like a darker pink, and then we got the mid-tone pink, which is a lighter one, and then the white, or the light pink, white pink. A hard one to say. So, all right, so let's go in here. And you could do it either or. You can either work on your diamonds or the little diamond. I know they're not actually diamonds, but I don't know what else to call them. Your little fake costume jewelry. You can either do that first, or you can work on your silvers first and then do your jewels last. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start working on the silver first. I really would like to get that out of the way. So it doesn't really matter which way you go on this, on where you want to start, as long as you start wherever it makes you feel happier. Okay, so this is right here. Let me get this zoomed out where I can kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay, this is really, really dark. So before I add my darkest point, I'm actually going to go to my darkest gray right here. That way I'm not going too dark. I'm not going to erase the pencil mark neither because I'm using grays and it kind of matches the pencil. So it really ain't gonna be too big of a deal. Now, I'm gonna make this as close as I can to the reference photo. But I may not, I mean, I won't make it exactly to the reference photo. I'm not going with hyper realistic here. I'm going with just like the realism closest to the way my purse looks. But I'm not going with exact. There's going to be some differences. Okay, let's see here. We're going to wrap some of this around. And then go around this. So just working our way around with the darkest parts. I'm kind of starting with the darker areas first. Just making these little lines in here where I see them. So a little circle. That's the thing. And if I don't have it drawn out, it's okay. I mean, even if you were drawing out and transferring whatever it is to your drawing here, you don't have to have each and everything drawn in perfectly. As long as you get some of the major points in, and then you can just draw the rest as you go. That's at least what I do. Okay, so I got some of those darker areas in, and I like to go a little bit lighter, so I'm going to take one of my a shade darker or lighter than the shade I was working with. Actually, it could be 2 shades lighter. And I'm just going to outline some of these areas here in this detail. And now I'm going to go around this one here, which majority of it just has this rounded part. This here looks more like a circle, kind of look. And then we got one here. Comes up and goes over right in there. Okay. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to take a lighter. I could use my white just to make sure I don't go too, yeah, better. Let's use my white just to highlight some of these edges around the edge of this flower here. And what that does is if I do end up going over it with some grays on accident or trying to, just trying to fill in and you accidentally cover it, it won't go too dark. It'll still stay light because you had a white already laid down in that area, so it won't really go too dark. Okay, so I got white around that. Oh, you're fine, Iced Tea. Yeah, I can completely understand. I do that too with a lot of videos that I like to watch myself. I'll just be doing artwork and listening to videos, and while I'm doing it, I don't, sometimes I don't say too much. I don't know if it's really live stream. I think there's only one person. No, it ain't one person I watch live stream. That would be totally wrong. There's quite a few that actually watch live stream, but I don't really say too much. I like listening. Sometimes I'll turn around and read the comments, or if there is something that maybe I need to ask a question on, I can ask a question, which makes it super nice. But yeah, do some artwork and you can watch and chat, or you can listen to me chat. Definitely. This is definitely a fun place to go to be able to do your artwork, listen, and just a really relaxing time. At least it is for me. I really do have a lot of fun doing this. And that's just the point. Definitely to have fun doing your artwork. Oh, I did have somebody point out something on a video of mine, one of the older ones too. My goodness, it was like 2 years ago. I had made a video for oil pastels, and I had somebody who commented on there basically saying about using odorless mineral spirits with oil pastels, and you're not supposed to use oil mineral spirits with oil pastels, and that I was being misleading. And I was like, what do you mean? You can use um odorless mineral spirits, which is basically like, a paint thinner that you use with your oil paints. You can actually do it. Maybe it might not be the type of work that you're wanting your painting to look like if you're wanting to thin them down, but it is definitely not misleading because it was just like, you can do that. And I was like, I had like 3 other artists that are good at their artwork and they do a really good job. And one I listened to because I really do like her. And I really should I say this? How would I say this? I would really support her theories. Like I really support her theories. I really support her what she says. Because it's true. But anyways, I had to show them like 3 other videos just to show I'm not misleading here and you can do it. But it also made me think too, if you stick by such, and there's people out there that does it, if you use oil pastels, that only got to use the oil pastels just the way they are, blend with your fingers, blend with your toes, blend with your nose. I don't know. Whatever they like to do. But they like to stick with such strong, like stay in a box. And that's all they are. They just stick within this box of realm of, this is the only thing you can do, this is how you're supposed to do it, and this is, anybody else who ever does anything different is wrong. And then you look at some artists out there who some people say it's not even artwork. They just throw paint down, or they paint on trash cans, or they paint on, things that are not even light fast, or, you know, um, just inanimate things, or blending with just some weird stuff. And you're like, how is that even archival? But yet it's artwork and sells for thousands of dollars in the high, uppity up museums. And I'm pretty sure those people, even though they're not sticking by light fast rules, and so their artwork probably won't last forever. I don't know. Um, but I'm pretty sure they didn't stay within the box of not wanting to experiment or try something different. So it just kind of sad for that person, because I'm like, you need to start focusing on some other things, because even there is, and I couldn't remember for the life of me which brand it was, but literally the maker of one of those oil pastels that I do use, one of them, literally says you can use odorless mineral spirits and blending. They made the product. They told you all the different ways that you could use it with. And yes, you can do that. So it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Maybe the person just didn't know but wanted to say something. I don't know. Unless they just got out of a school and they're still learning because their teacher didn't teach them enough. And they had to make a comment. It was not very nice. It was just like, really? I don't intend to go out there and mislead anybody. Definitely don't. And I wouldn't do it if I known that, you can't do it that way. Or I'd let you know that I'm experimenting and I'm not for sure if you should do it this way. I will let you guys know, but it's something that I wanted to do. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It just kind of saddens me, because if the person actually thinks outside the box a little bit, I keep on thinking that maybe they might be doing really good at something besides being mean to others in comments. Ugh. That's the one thing you have to deal with, though. It's like you got people that are just never happy, and they just want to take it out on you, and then say that they don't take it out on you. It's like, really? You just did. It's like, okay. I think even one person was not very nice to me and said that I got my stuff at the dollar store. And I was like, really? When did they start selling my easel? Like, what is my easel? Me Den is the brand. And I'm like thinking, when did they start selling Me Den at the dollar store? Hell, I'll go get three. Like, okay, let me know, person. It's like, I don't know. I'll go get three. And then I would do giveaways. Hell, if they sold that at the dollar store, I would do giveaways. Definitely. I'd be like, who wants a meet in easels sold at the dollar store? So I don't know. I guess it's while you do your artwork, you rant. Wonder how that makes your artwork turn out. I don't know. My flower might look not very nice. I need to be nicer, maybe. I don't like ranting too much. I usually just keep it to myself. But I do think people should be nice. Okay, and so I'm putting this dark in here. And this is my midnight black. But when I'm putting this in here, I'm also just kind of shaping out the flower. And you can tell that it's really popping to the color of the flower, the edge of the flower. It's really starting to give it more depth. And what does that is your contrast between lights and darks. That's what makes this pop. I've got my white in there for the edges where the light is hitting it, and then I'm putting dark right in behind these petals, and that's what's going to make this pop. It's going to make it look more three-dimensional. So if you're wanting something a little bit more three-dimensional, always check your contrast between lights and darks. Make sure that you got your lights in there nice and light, and got your darks budding up next to it. Okay, that looks like it's going to be a teeny tiny jewel. I gotta eat, but I'll be right back. Okay, enjoy your dinner. So here we're just gonna, now that we worked on this inside, I still have to do the little inside of the jewel here, but I need to shadow this in. It's just still, I know it's really bright, but I need to make a little bit more of a shadow. So I'm gonna come in here and I'm just gonna use my gray that I have, and I'm gonna add a little bit of shadow to it. That had the bright. This looks like it has a little bit of a shadow. I don't want to go completely to the edge. Here we go. I like that flower. So now we got our little flower in the center. Don't have our pendant in the middle yet. And now I need to make the outside edge here, which has a bunch of little circles of pendants all the way around it. So this ought to be a whole lot of fun undoing. Plus there's like these little bitty circles that kind of come up around those little pendants just to like hold the, or not pendants, but around those little jewels just to hold them in. So I don't know how good of a detail I really want to put into doing that, like if I want to do that, but we're going to get something close. So I want to take, again, one of my darker grays, probably not my darkest gray though. I mean, I'm trying to look to see how these jewels are, if there's really, some of them are kind of at an angle. And then this here has got to have something here. It's got to be a little bit lighter. Let's, before I do that, let me take my lighter gray here and just kind of circle around the edge, because this is supposed to be a little bit deeper. And this here actually needs to come out a lot more. Let me take some of my darker gray here. And since I'm working with such a smaller detail with this little pendant here, or these little pendants in here, I do not I don't think I'm going to blend with odorless mineral spirits. If so, I might end up maybe burnishing a little bit on it toward the end. But depending on how small it is, since it is smaller, I don't think I want to go with the odorless mineral spirits blending on this part. Okay, so let's take, let's still take out my darker gray, and we're gonna put in some of these circles. Like this is gonna be a jewel here. We're gonna have a jewel here, a jewel right there, I'm going to start drawing these in kind of more of an oval shape. Maybe sticking out just a little bit. Almost looks like one of these is kind of a little bit smaller for some reason. Okay, so we got some of those circles kind of put in. And we're going to go in with a little bit lighter. Let's see here. How do I want to go? Maybe this light. And we have 4 little circles holding this in, which I don't really think we're going to emphasize too much. I mean, we can, but some of these you're not going to be able to see. Yeah, some of these you're not going to be able to see, even in the reference photo. Oops. And a lot of these have a whole lot of white in them reflecting. Okay. I'm just kind of sticking in this gray in some of these areas, but it is not going to be remotely to a T, like I said, perfect to the reference photo. I'm not looking for something that is hyper realistic, but something that is similar and close. That's all I'm looking for. Close. Like that. Oops. And I dropped. I'm gonna create. Oh, hey. Oh, we have a loss in the family, so I'm not saying. Just wanted to pop in and say hello. Oh, I'm so sorry. Well, thank you for stopping by and saying hi, and I am so sorry for your loss. Oh my goodness. You take care and oh, it's looking great. Thank you so much, and I am so sorry and oh my goodness. Aw. Well, I'm prayers to you and your family, and yeah, definitely stay with family, stay close. Lots of hug and loves to you all. So maybe I can see you on the next one, or you can watch it on the replay, and I'll see you on the next one. So, aw, that's so sad. Aw. Oh, by the way, I got me if any of you guys are watching, I got me this new coffee mug. And guess what? I did get this at the dollar store, but it is I don't know if you guys can see it real well. I didn't want to hold it over my painting, but it's like a spider web for Halloween. Alrighty, thank you. Aw. You're welcome. So yeah, I got me a spider web cup. And yeah, from the dollar store. So yeah, the person had said about me in the dollar store, I did get that at the dollar store. I still go to the dollar store. I don't see nothing wrong with the dollar store. I don't usually get my art supplies from the dollar store though. I don't really think that even that would probably not be good for me if I'm trying to, or at least on some of my artwork that I want to sell. I don't think I want to find any kind of archival stuff at the dollar store, but I do find other things at the dollar store that I like. Like, oh, I got me a witch's broom at the dollar store. I liked it, and it only cost me $5. The dollar store has gems. It does. I actually got me a broom that hangs on the wall for $5, and it says, "If the broom fits, then fly it." And I was like, "Oh my God, I have to have it!" And it's literally a broom, and it says that, and I was like, "Oh, it's so cute." So yeah, the broom fits, then fly it. And they were doing a special where they had oh, what was it? Like if you buy like $20 worth, they give you a $5 coupon like off on your items or your purchases. And I ended up finding that broom for like $5, and I was like, oh my God, I have to have it. Well, I literally got a $5 ticket off on it, so I basically got it for free. So I was like, yay, I'm happy. It made my day. Okay, I'm just kind of wrapping some of this black here, this midnight black, in and around some of these areas that I can see that has more of a darker tone to it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Remember that. We're just getting close. If you stand back and look at it and it looks like it's jewels or a little pendant, that's what you're going for. The cheese service we're learning. Yes, I totally agree. Yes. Yeah. The one person that told me about the dollar store thing, it was like my easel looks like it came from the dollar store, and then I'm using cheap brushes and looked like I got from the dollar store. They were like the person that said, don't take it personally, but, and then started saying something else, and they said, don't take it personal, and then they went ahead and started like just saying, looks like your easel came from the dollar store, it looks like your brushes are so cheap they came from the dollar store. Look at the, I'm like, how am I supposed to not take that personal? I was like, my goodness. I don't know if there's a Cons Electric where you lived. Not for sure. But they are going out of business, so you may get some deals right now. Cons Electronics. Hmm. I'm not for sure. Wonder if there is one. Hmm. I'll type it in. We'll see. Cons Electrics. Electronic, okay. Huh. Um, there's a Console Plus. Console Plus. I bet that might be it. Yeah, appliances, electric. Cons, okay. Ooh. The closest one I live to is 110 miles away. Oh no. That is the closest one to me. It's 110 miles. Yeah. Yeah, not that close. I used to be 100 miles away, used to be where I used to live in, oh, Rolla. It was in Missouri. And I was always 100 miles away from like every big city. So whenever you wanted to go shopping somewhere, like a mall or anything like that, you literally had to drive 100 miles away to every direction just to try and get to someplace. And so, I'm looking at that, I'm like, well, technically I would drive all that way that far, but um now it's like, I don't know. Gas prices are high now. The money you'll save will be burned on the gas. Like, I know. That's what I was just saying. The gas. I don't know if I can do that. Oh no. Yeah, probably wouldn't work out too well. Yeah. Um, let's see here. I really need to make that a little bit smaller. I don't really like how this little jewel I had drawn out there. I'll probably have to cover that up, the edge of it. Boy, aren't I great? I just like pick out colors that probably shouldn't have used, but it'll be all right. Where's my purple? Oh, it's right here, maybe. I'm probably gonna have to put a shadow around it anyway. That I might want to blend out. Eh. Yeah, that's better. I had to shape that just a little bit better. Nothing is close to this. No neighborhood stores. Yeah. Okay, no problem. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one. Aw. Let's see here. So now we had those circles. Let me try and make a little bit of a just making little circles next to these to kind of show there's little circles in there. That's fine. Maybe one in there. Okay, those are you're probably not gonna see. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Aww. So let's see here. So now we got all of that done. I may want to put a little bit more of a lighter gray in here, just here and there. Don't know if there's really an edge on that. No, there's not. I think it's more jewel here. Probably more jewel there. All right. So it looks pretty good. I mean, if you're wanting to go in and shadow some more, you can. But for me, yeah, I think I want to stop there and I want to put in these jewels, like start making the colors for the jewels, and then I can always go back in and start darkening it with shadows. Now, I do notice that there's more of a darker color in there, and I don't think I want to go with black, to be honest. I was like thinking in my head, I'm going to go with black for the dark, and maybe I can zoom this in to kind of show you what I'm talking about. So like you have in these jewels, like some of these darker areas inside the jewels. Maybe some in there, that might be a black. But these darker little spots inside there, I'm really thinking to go with more of a burgundy, like a darker, it's a darker color, but more of like a burgundy. This is 350 on the polychromos, or is it 350? No, what did I say 350 for? Let's see here. 194. Hmm. I don't actually have this listed. That is really weird. Okay. So 194 is going to be more of this. It's like a darker, kind of purpley, burgundy kind of color. Could always read the name on it, Deborah. Red violet. So this is a red violet. I really think that instead of going with straight black in the center of any of these jewels, I might just go with this red violet. If I need to go darker, then I can. So, I mean, these jewels are going to be super small anyways. So we're just basically going to be making dots in these. I mean, little slashes, little marks inside these jewels. I mean, there's going to be really no defining shape really in these, except for like maybe some little dashes and marks. Uh, Making some little dots in these areas. I mean, even the smaller ones. I mean, we're working with a really tiny, teeny tiny subject here. Now, if you are working with some bigger type of jewels, then I would say you can have a little bit more shapes and stuff to work with your colors. So we got some dots in there. Now we're going to go ahead and take out, still going to take out more of my darker pink that I had here, which is Caran d'Ache, and I'm picked violet pink. That's something. We had a violet red for really dark. Now we're doing a violet pink. Okay, on all these jewels, I want to still leave some areas to where I can put a little highlight in there. So you don't want to get too carried away. I'm just kind of just dotting it in there. But I want to leave some area where I can actually add one little speck of highlight. I don't want it completely covered. Like I said, we're just going to do it to make it look like a hint of color. There we go. So that looks pretty good. Now we're going to go in with our lighter pink. And by the way, I haven't done the center jewel. We'll do the center jewel here in just a little bit. I might just layer this in on top. There's no room and you only got enough for just a white spot, then I would probably just leave it alone. I wouldn't really go too far with it because you want to have your lighter highlight in there. Okay. And I said I was going to use a white pink. Is it called white pink or pink white? Pink white for like a little highlight. So we're going to go in on top of our white area, our white little dot, and just kind of emphasize it with some of this white pink. Okay. So now I got my little pink jewels in there. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to be working on that center one. The center one is just a tad bit bigger. So I'm going to put in some of my darks. Just kind of dotting it in there where I see the darks. Okay. And then we're going to put in just a little touches of some pinks. I'm going to go directly over to my white pink. Just kind of add a little bit of glimmer in there. And we could always go for a darker color just to kind of and that's around it. I didn't go in it. Let's put a little bit more dark in here. Put some light pink. When you're working with something this small, it is going to be a little bit more trickier to kind of put those colors in. I'm going to take my black. I'm going to stick a couple little dots in there. I'm going to go around this with my black. I'm going to kind of get this to shadowed in a little bit darker around the center. That looks a little bit better, but I definitely want a white in there. Like I really want it to be like a little bit of a shine in here. And if you have trouble, like I said, adding that one little touch of white and it's not coming up that bright, then use your touch up texture by brush and pencil and just use that in the center where you want your little bright highlight. So I'm going to stick some in there. I'll let it dry and then we'll be able to work on that. So we've almost made it to pretty much an hour working on it and got this far with it. I really like the way that looks. I might want to go in there and just kind of make some a little bit more darker areas with my black around some of these jewels here just to make them pop. They may just be a little bit darker just in there, looping around. Yeah, I like the way that looks. So you got it as like when you're looking at it, it does look like a little pendant, kind of looks similar to this. When you're looking at the little pendant, and then I don't know how to put two to two. Whoa, we did a spin. Oops. So yeah, I mean, you guys can kind of see it right that. So I can kind of put these two together like that, and you can kind of see that it does look kind of resemblance to the same kind of thing. It may not be exactly hyper realistic to make it look exactly to a T like this, but it is super, super close. And when you stand back away from it and you're looking at it like you would in a like from a distance, it definitely looks very, I mean, it looks close. I mean, even up close, it still looks similar, but it's not like hyper realistic, just more realism. So now that we got that done, I want to move on to our golds. So the things that we got that is gold in this picture is going to be right here. Keep on hitting my glass there. So we have this right here that is more of a gold type of piece. And then we have on the other side of my purse has this little thing. which is on the other side, and that is also gold. So we're going to be working on those two gold pieces. And then as far as that goes, just to let you guys know, we're going to work on the gold, but you can see up here that I have this little gold zipper that's attached to this because this is the zipper where you can zip it. I'm going to go ahead and do that next week because I don't think we'll have enough time for me to get to the little gold zipper up here. So it's the only thing would be left. And then we can continue on to finishing the purse with the actual zipper here. So that might be a little bit tricky to do. And I definitely want to stick with something that maybe looks like it could be a challenge to you guys to show you just how I do that too and how I work with that. So I'll leave the zipper, which is more the trickier part, and I'll just do this next week. So that'll be done. So let's go ahead and continue on to using gold. Let me go ahead and put up all of my grays. Well, I'm not going to put them up. I'm just going to put them to the side here. Get them off out of the way because I know I'm going to be working with a whole lot. There goes the little pencil. Let's see here. Because we don't need our pinks anymore. Not for gold. And then we're going to go ahead and I'll always keep my black, or at least my midnight black. I always keep that, and I always keep my whites out. So I always keep those two out. So when choosing gold, you just basically look at the colors that we have here. So when you're looking at it, zoom in. So you're looking at more of, if you're working with acrylic paints, more of a Naples yellow kind of look, or maybe even a yellow ochre is what we're looking at. In the center here, it could be either black, or you could end up using a dark brown. Could be right in those areas with the darkest areas or the darkest parts. You got some ivory right in here. Some cream or ivory colors would be good. So let's stick with those colors for now. So, and you could also use a gray, I guess, if you're wanting to add a little bit of shadow in there. You can throw a little gray in there, or you could use some browns too. So it's totally up to you on those colors, but that's what I'm going to stick with. I'm going to stick with more of my ochres, more of my browns. So let's go ahead and get those pulled out. Caran d'Ache, light pass. I like my, well, no, that's Derwent. Luminance. Talking about, right? All right. I don't have any glassine. So let's pull out, trying to look for my ochres here. Here's one. This one here is a brown ochre, 50%, which would be a good one. We got a lighter color here. This is a brown ochre, 10%. It's more of a kind of a cream. We could also do, what is this one? This one, the primrose. I don't know if I want to go yellow. And then we got, and here's a Naples ochre. That would be a good one for a bright color. I really would like a yellow ochre. But we also have this one here. This is more of a brown ochre. Brown. Yeah, this is a brown ochre. I said that's brown ochre. Okay, so we're taking out all the brown ochres out of the Caran d'Ache, it seems. And then I want to pull out maybe a dark flesh would be good, or a castle earth. Here's a castle earth. We'll use that for like our darkest points of all. And then maybe for a shadow, we just want to use kind of like a regular brown. What do we have here? Or at least this is a dark flesh. That's sepia. Sepia might be good. I do like sepia. Quite often I like sepia. So let's just go with sepia too. So we could use either one for either a lighter shadow, using maybe a sepia, and for like a dark shadow, almost looks black, we can use, instead of black, using castle earth instead. So we may be able to work with those. I was really hoping for a yellow ochre though, more of a yellow ochre. Let's see if I don't have that maybe on this one here. I'm not seeing it. I don't think I took any out. That would look like it. Hmm. Oh, ouch. Well, we could work with that. Maybe it's right here. I think it's hidden. No, that's raw sienna. Raw sienna might work. Yellow ochre. Okay, here's my yellow ochre. Eh, it may be too yellow. We'll just take it out. I'm not for sure on that. I almost actually mistaken it for just yellow. All right, take another sip of coffee. No coffee, coffee, no worky, worky. That's what that one shirt says. I was like seeing that. It was so cute. It was like a little owl. Mm. And see, we can just look at this and just kind of put our colors up there, and you can tell that that's just way too yellow. So I'm really thinking that the yellow ochres, that's raw sienna. And I mean, it's for gold. It's just this gold here, maybe just a little bit too, not as golden color as what you might seem. Yeah. I think we're going to stick with more of the brown ochres. Well, yeah, I'm really thinking brown ochres might just be okay. I'm still kind of guessing on this yellow ochre. Hmm, I don't know. We are going to keep that over to the side. I am not going to touch it though, and I'll put away my raw sienna. Okay, not touching those. I just really want to stick with my brown ochres for this one. It's not that rich of a gold. If I wanted to go more of a richer gold, then I would say yes, but for this case, nah. So we're going to go with Castle Earth. Castle Earth was one of our ones we were going to use for our darkest areas. So I'm going to make this dark right in here. Maybe some of my sepia right in here. Let's see. Watch my sepia be darker than the Castle Earth. Be all right. Ooh, well, then we got a strip going through here. I just now noticed. Well, we got a strip of this leather that's coming up behind there, and I did not notice it until I looked at the reference photo that I did not put that in. It'll be all right. We can do that later. It's not really a necessity. At least not now. Let's put in some of my darks. And some dark right in there. Okay. Now I'm going to grab a hold of this brown ochre. It's not a percentage ochre, it's just brown ochre. And I'm going to put this in first. And I might end up layering on top of it with a brown. Just kind of looking where those darker colors go and trying to do my best to just kind of mimic it. Okay. And then I'm going to take my sepia. Just going to go on top of my brown ochre. And what that does is it kind of changes the colors up. It doesn't make it as dark. If I were to put down like my sepia down, and it could have been too dark, but if I put the sepia on top of my brown ochre here, it's going to make it a little bit lighter than it would be if I just used plain sepia. So there's those colors. Now I want to take a little bit more of my brown ochre 50%, and I want to go in here and start. See here, we got a highlight going on in there. So I kind of want to be careful with that. See here, just kind of going in and around some of these areas. This is basically, I'm using this for my base color. I do see highlights though. And I also see some darker areas right in here too. Okay, let's stick with some of this other kind of brown or brown ochre in here. I think it's like a 10%. No, it's just brown ochre. It's just darker brown ochre. And then I'm going to take my sepia and I'm going to go on top of it. That way it's still dark, but just not as dark. I'm going to go on top of that. So I'm just layering in some colors here. I'm layering in I layered in the 50% brown ochre on top of that also. Change up the colors a little bit. I'm going to go in here and start making some of these highlights because I don't want them to be kind of disappeared. May have the stick of white in there. It's not going to be super white unless we put in some of that other texture fixative or just left it white to begin with. Sticking some of my lightest color here, which is brown ochre 10%. Now we do have a really big shadow right there. We can always just take some of our Castle Earth. I'm just gonna kind of go around it just so slightly. We'll end up making a shadow there. Probably not with Castle Earth. We'll probably use our darker colors, like our darker grays for that. Let's see here. I really would like to have, let me go with one of my grays anyway. Let's get one of our grays out. I'm going to get out a lighter gray, and I'm going to get out some of this warm gray. Let's see here. Let's just use some of these grays. And I'm going to work with little circles this time. Just to kind of make a little bit of a shadow in there. It looks more like an aged kind of gold. There's a really bright white highlight in here. Put in some of this lighter color in here. Like I said, it's not going to be super bright until we start adding in maybe some of that texture fixative. And the reason why I'm grabbing that, for any of you who are probably like, well, if you worked in smaller circles, and I could do that. I am working in a smaller detail here, but also I chose a paper that, don't know why I chose this paper, but I chose a much smoother paper than what I should have chosen. So should have never chosen this type of paper. But is it doable? Yeah, it is. Am I having to work harder? Yeah, I am. So that looks too red. Maybe. Now I'm doing this just to add a little bit of a shadow around my gold, like more of the purse kind of color. And most likely I will have to blend with OMS on this, only because I want to kind of combine some of these colors in here. I want to smooth out some of these areas and some of these colors. I like that color. I think I used that before. Maybe we can use that in here. May have to darken it up some. I think it'll be too vibrant. So what I'm going to do is take some of my darker gray here, add some of that to it, because I definitely want it darker. There, that might be better. Okay, so let's go ahead and take my odorless mineral spirits. I'm going to blend this out just a little bit so that way I can kind of get these colors blended, but also I need to add another layer to this. And I may end up adding some of my touch-up texture just so that way we can make a nice bright highlight in here. Let's kind of use that in and around on this edge here. I really want that blended. I want it more smoothed out. I'll add the detail in it on the second go around with it. Same thing with this inside here. I'm gonna have to blend it once, but then I'm probably gonna have to add another coat to that. But I do like that color. Okay, so now that we got that to where it's going to dry, I'm going to come back and I'm going to use my white. You remember we added that little bit of touch-up texture to the center here, so that way I can add a nice little bright highlight, because none of my white was showing up. Well, there you go. You can get your white to show up. If you end up using too much white, you can always go in there and tone that back down if needed. I don't know. Let's see, where's my colors? Where is my pink? My lighter pink. Like lost all my colors that I was working with. Here's my white pink. Hmm. I need some more. There. I like that better. There we go. And then once that dries, we'll be able to add another coat to the gold. But you can already tell it does look like it's gold. It looks more of that tone of color. But we will have to add another tone or another layer to it. My goodness. I think I know a little bit more coffee. It's been one of those days. Also, if you guys are still watching this, please leave a like on the channel. That definitely helps the channel. And by commenting and sharing, that definitely helps the channel also. We are getting really close to... Hi, Steve. Sorry, I'm back. No, you're fine. And yeah, definitely hit the like, definitely hit the share, comment, all those fun things. Definitely helps. We are getting close. I think the last time I checked, I think we were at 800 on the subscribers. So we're slowly but surely we are making it. We're getting there. I'd really like to, and I keep on thinking about it all the time. I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do whenever we reach 1,000? I wanted to do like a giveaway or something, like maybe do an art piece and then do a giveaway. So I was really thinking about doing that for our 1,000th, like whenever we hit 1,000 subscribers. I think it would be so much fun. I just don't know how everybody does it with the on how they do the whole like giveaways. I know they usually got this little thingy that they put up and try and do a drawing. And then you just send emails. That way it's all private. And then I can send you a gift when you win if you're picked as a winner. So I was really wanting to do that on the 1,000th. Okay, hold on, let's see here. 1,000 subscribers. Okay, we get a light and we get a dark coming in here, but it is like super small. Okay, we're getting those darker areas kind of filled in. Remember, we're just trying to get close. That's all we're trying to do is get close. Okay, and then that should be good. Okay, random question. Do you still talk even when nobody's watching? Sorry if that seems rude. Haha, I don't mean it in a mean way, just asking. Yes, I do. So even if nobody's watching, I will still talk the whole entire time because I know that other people will watch this on the replay. So I do have other subscribers who might not be able to make it at this time for the live stream. So they like to watch me do the artwork and see how I do it on a live, and then I just kind of talk so that way they can watch me and they can just hear me chat. So, yeah, I do chat even if no one's on there, just for the people who like to watch the replay. Plus, that it would get really boring if I don't talk. That train is horrible. I'm so sorry. So yeah, it's one of those things that you just get into a habit of doing. Um, Makes sense. Yeah. You get into a habit of talking to, like, just talking. And the how you get into a habit of doing that is if you make videos. Let's just say if you decided you wanted to make your own videos, and you're basically talking to yourself while you're recording. So you're recording and you're basically talking to yourself. You're talking about the artwork that you're doing, or maybe you're doing a voiceover and you've already done the artwork. So while you're working on it or watching yourself work on it, you have to talk. You know, you have to say the whole thing. So you start to get into a habit of talking while you're doing your artwork, and that really helps too, because otherwise it would feel really weird. I understand that. It would feel really weird talking to yourself and there's like nobody on there. But when you do so many recordings, then it definitely just feels natural just to talk. Okay, let's see here. Let's get out my ochre. This is the one I've been using kind of like as a base. No, actually, this is not my base one. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. So I'm just going to use that in here. I'm just going to give it a nice little coat. Kind of using this as my base layer. This is my brown ochre 50%. So it's not necessarily my darkest, even though I do see some areas where it should be lighter. Now let's go around here around this edge. And make my way on down. I know that looks a little bit wonky, but we're going to have to make a shadow in here too. So there's going to be a shadow. It's kind of coming off of that. I'm just using a gray for the shadow. Somebody yelling out there. Huh. Got kids playing outside. I think it's getting dark, but I don't know. Those neighbor kids like to play all times. All right, so now that we got that, let me go ahead and get out my, this is my darker ochre. Yeah, my brown ochre. It's a little bit darker. I just want to make some minor little details here. Okay, let's take some browns. Definitely need to make this a little bit darker. Just making some of those browns kind of come around because it looks like a little bit of a shadow in there. Maybe like right in there too. kind of making this shadow go in and around this area here. So you can tell that one side's a little bit darker than the other. And as you can tell, it looks a little bit lighter on this one than it does on that one. But that's fine because we still need to come in here and blend, and that will end up kind of toning it down just a little bit. It should brighten back up, but it wouldn't be as bright because we do have some of these darker browns that can end up blending in. So I'm going to go ahead and take the lid off my odorless mineral spirits, and we're going to blend this, but we're going to blend it very, very, how should I say this, very lightly. We're going to go in like a little circle in here. We're going to try not to hit the bright white areas because I do not want to take those out. We're just going to blend right around this area. Okay, and then we're going to take this and we're going to blend right around in this area here. Just kind of wrapping that shadow around. I'm just moving my odorless mineral spirits and blending in the same direction, kind of like wrapping it around. Maybe just blend a little bit in there. If you need to tone a highlight down, maybe it's a little bit too bright, you can always just go over the top of it. There. So now if I need to add another layer, which I will, we can do that. So now that we've done that, we can go back over to our little other gold thingy over here. It's like a little golden, where you lock. It's where you lock your little purse. So far we're doing good on our time. I am really happy with that. And put some white in there. I'm going to sharpen this real quick. Okay. If it ends up looking like I'm not able to put enough layer down because of this paper being so smooth, I may end up having to switch over and excuse me, and use some of my touch-up texture. Right now it seems to be doing pretty good. Okay, then we got this area right here. Okay. And then right in there feels a little bit thick in that area. So now that I got that in there, I'm going to go ahead and get some of my brown ochres. We're going to come in on top of this. Got my light flickering here. I don't know why I got my light flickering. It's kind of weird. I hope we don't have a power outage. Oh my gosh. Okay, I used the brown ochre and now I'm going to go on top of it with my, where's my sepia? That's not my sepia. Sepia? I'm also going to underline this little area here. And we need to make this a little bit more of a shadow in here. So I'm going to come in. Seems a little bit thick. I think we may have too much, we didn't blend it out completely with the odorless mineral spirits, so I may have left a little bit too much wax content down in there. That's too dark. Let's do this one. Okay, I want to take my dark gray and I want to go in here and just add some more shadow, just kind of coming out from this little button area. This is going to add a little bit more contrast and give it that depth. So that's where it makes it look more realistic. And now I'm going to go in, and I did say I needed to make another layer inside here. So that's what I'm going to do. Whether or not I blend it out with the odorless mineral spirits or not, let's take another gray, and I may not on this one. Yeah, I think it's fine without not blending that out. So now we got our gold, but I also need to, it's like looking on the camera looks a little wonky on that. Like there should be a bump there and it's not a bump. I don't know why it looks like that. It'll be all right. So now that we got this one done, we're going to move over here and we're going to add a second layer to this little gold feller over here. And basically what we're going to do with this is we're just kind of going over it a second time. It's not that we're really doing anything too different here. Guess it would help if I stuck my reference photo up where I can see it. It's like looking everywhere for it. Let's get some of that white in here. Another one on here. And then right in here. Okay. Don't think there's really too much of a highlight in here, but we can lightly kind of go around it just to kind of give it something. Stick some of this lighter color in here. And the other color that we didn't really add to this much, which we could just go back and do, would be some of our gray tone in here. Okay, just adding some grays. That'll give it more of an aged look anyway, more of an antique kind of gold in there. Definitely want to make that darker. That's just not dark enough. It almost looks black, so I actually probably want to come in here. Right close to the edge. I add more of a darker black color to this. I like that. So that looks a whole lot better. And you know what? I'm going to do the same thing this one. I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to add an even darker, not just brown, but we are going to come in here with this black. There we go. Sometimes you need to go that dark. I'll go a little bit on here. There. Just add some of that dark black in there to give it a little bit more depth. But I do like that. I'm going to go back to my brown. I think this is this is sepia. I just want to make that just a little bit more darker. Okay. Oops. Now I'm throwing my pencils. All right, so I definitely have those two buttons done. So now we got both the little gold, and to use gold, and especially to make it antique, go over this again. I use grays to make it look more aged, maybe adding a little bit of more antique kind of to your gold. So it's not like gold as in like this ring is super shiny gold. You would use more of your yellow ochres in there, but instead to make gold without pulling out an actual gold pencil, which most likely the golds that you would have in those pencils would not be light fast. So in order to get around that, to make sure you're doing something that is gold, that looks gold and that has a shine to gold, and without using a gold pencil, and you want it to be light fast, I just resorted to using my brown ochres in the Caran d'Ache. So they had brown ochre 50%, brown ochre 10%, and then of course they had this one here's Naples ochre, so like a Naples color if you want to add a little bit more of a brighter kind of yellowish kind of color. And then go to your darker browns or your browns for some of the darker shades. That's just really all you gotta do. If you wanted to have a lot more contrast, then use a black. I just went ahead and picked up my midnight black. I know it added a little bit more of a bluer tone to it, or bluish blackish tone to it, but I like that because it adds more depth. It makes it look a lot darker, and it makes it have more of a kind of like adds a good contrast and gives it more depth. So that's why I usually always choose my midnight black. So, and then of course your whites, definitely for your contrast to make something look shiny in here, definitely want to use your whites. So, I know I hate to end this really quick, because we are actually done. The only thing that I would need to do is this little zipper part that holds this together up here. And then we can work on the top part of the purse, unless I just went ahead and did that on my own. I know we did have the gold on here on the zipper part, but we could easily do, I don't know if I want to do that ahead, and then we go ahead and do a whole nother thing like working on this glass perfume bottle. of mine. So we may end up doing that. You guys, I'm not for sure how you guys feel about that. If I just go ahead and just do the zipper and get that over with, it is a gold zipper, so it's just basically going to be like little bitty gold little dots kind of going up, and then oops, and then of course the pink material here. But other than that, we would basically be going to the glass perfume bottle next to it. So I don't know what you guys think. If you guys feel like just having me finish this top part here with the little gold little dots, since we did learn how to do gold, and then also doing like a little pendant, I can finish this top part here, and we could end up starting on this glass perfume bottle on this side. Would be really fun to work with. And of course, I'm wanting to leave my hamster for the last. The hamster and the dime is going to be the final piece. So I think we might just leave it at that. So I'll just, unless I get somebody who messages me or leaves a comment saying, hey, no, could you please just finish off the zipper part on the next one. So I'll give you guys at least a couple days. Let's see here, what is today? Yeah, I'll give you guys a couple days, and if I don't see anybody say anything different by saying, hey, hold on, could you please do the zipper here and on the next video, I will do that. If I don't get anybody commenting to me saying, no, wait, don't, do the zipper or not to do the zipper, whatever. If I don't hear nothing, then I will do this and get that top part done of the zipper, and we can work on the glass bottle, perfume bottle on the next video. So I think that sounds pretty good. I don't know. But really, this is a lot of fun. I actually really didn't enjoy this. And the purse is not completely done. I mean, we still have to add a shadow in here, and that way it gives the purse itself needs to have depth or has that shadow, because otherwise it looks like it's just like, I don't know. It's got depth in there, but it just looks like it's just sitting there. Like my purse is just literally just sitting there. So, all right. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and end this video a little bit early. I hate to do that, but we actually got ahead really, really quick. Those pendants actually didn't take as long as what I thought they would be. So, I guess we could add some shadow. How much shadow does... Oh, this one's got shadow on it. We could just add some shadow to this real quick. Actually, what does have shadow? That one's got shadow too. Okay. That's fine. We could do that. Let's just add some shadow, which I just use my grays. And I usually just work in circles, and I'll just go around this. If it looks a little bit too gritty, grainy when you put it on there, you can always blend it out with not as much odorless mineral spirits. Yeah, adding this shadow in definitely gives it a lot more depth too. Let's see here. We got a little bit of shadow, but it mostly looks like it comes up and goes at a weird angle here. We're just going to do that much shadow. I don't really want to add as much shadow as it has in the reference photo. It just looks a little wonky. Looks like it's more of a triangle. Here we go. Actually, I could probably just use what's on my brush already. Kind of soften that out. There we go. I like the way it softens out around that, and I'll use... See, I didn't dip my brush in either. I just used whatever was left over on my brush already and use that to blend out the shadow. I mean, that was pretty easy. I mean, there's really not much to do on that to create a shadow. So anyways, I guess we'll go ahead and call it a wraps. Remember to leave a like and share the video. Leave a comment, definitely helps the channel. Leave a comment, let me know if you want me to go ahead and finish the zipper up so we can go on to the glass bottle for next week. If I don't hear anything, we're just going to go ahead and do the glass bottle next week. So that way we can move on from the purse and continue on. So anyways, I guess that's pretty much it. If you guys are wanting like longer tutorials or like a longer videos and more videos of how I create any kind of like color pencil, oil pastel, soft pastel, I do have one for charcoal and acrylic painting. Then you can find that over on my Patreon. Link is in the description below and also right underneath my picture here. So yeah, go check that out. And also I come up with like ideas for the month, like themes of the month, and you can share that over on my Facebook artist group page. So I guess we'll go ahead and end it, and I'll see you all on the next video. Bye, you guys.